Welcome to our next Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Today we're headed on part 3 of our tour of Greenfield Village in Dearborn, Michigan. In this part of the video, in this part 3, we're going to take a look at railroads, craftsmanship, as well as a working farm. In parts 1 and part 2, part 1 we took a look at the lives of Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, as well as the Wright brothers and some of the historic buildings and information about them. In part 2 we took a look at some of the historic homes across the world, and in this part we'll take a look at railroads, craftsmanship, and farms. We're headed into Railroad Junction right now. In this area we're going to embark on a journey that talks about railroad history, and as we can see in front of us, we also see a fully operational steam power railway and depot that comes from the 1800s. In fact, this depot that we're looking at right now, it's called the Smiths Creek Depot. It was located once on the Grand Trunk Western Railway and was the hub of community activity in the 19th century. This particular depot was brought here to Greenfield Village. It was originally located about 9 miles southwest of Port Huron, Michigan. This building served as more than just a train station, though. It was a vibrant center where people exchanged packages and telegrams, stayed to listen to the latest news, as well as have lively social interactions.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Greenfield Village is part of the Henry Ford, a large indoor and outdoor historical museum complex. This village was established by Henry Ford, the founder of the Ford Motor Company, in 1929. The purpose of the village is to preserve and showcase examples of American life and innovation from the late 17th through the 19th century. Among some of the buildings that we see in this video, as well as the other 2 videos that are on my channel, are about 80 historic buildings that include the Wright Brothers Bicycle Shop, Thomas Edison's Menlo Park Laboratory, a courthouse where Abraham Lincoln practiced law, and much, much more. As we go through Railroad Junction, we'll be taking a look, and we can see some of the trains that are here, as well as some of the unique structures, such as those here right in front of us, which were buildings that stored coal for the steam trains, as well as steam locomotive water towers where the steam locomotives would stop and take on water. The Edison Illuminating Company Station A is a modified, compact replica of the Detroit station where Henry Ford rose to the position of chief engineer. It also houses one of Thomas Edison's most remarkable inventions, the sole remaining jumbo dynamo from the Pearl Street station in Manhattan, New York. It was here, while employed at the Edison Illuminating Company, that Henry Ford constructed his inaugural automobile and had his historic first encounter with Thomas Edison.
Yeah, in the museum. Yeah, but the place where he built it is you go down Main Street, turn right, and you will see the garage.
Nobody signs up? What is it?
Volunteers.
There we go.
There we go.
Well, they wouldn't be volunteers.
Cheers.
They would dollars.
Yeah, it builds character.
Yeah, and so that's how we made the steam. These actually worked at one time. This one got damaged because it got left steam engines would sound just like the steam engines that are on the train. Exactly the same. And we would make 12 volt configure a record.
Powered the generators and the dynamo.
Steam locomotives, with their intricate and demanding maintenance needs, relied on a dedicated workforce of both skilled and unskilled laborers. This roundhouse, which was a pivotal structure for these maintenance tasks, was constructed in 1884 in Marshall, Michigan. It served the Detroit, Toledo, and Milwaukee Railroad. Presently, this historical roundhouse continues to be in use, providing essential services to the locomotives and rolling stock of the Weiser Railroad here in Greenfield Village.
No, they have a very small staff.
We'll take a step away from the railroads and move into a craftswork area. In this area, for the next several buildings that we'll see, we can witness skilled craftsmen honing their art, employing time-honored techniques that span generations. We'll take a look at a pottery plant, a glass plant, printing plant, weaving, and much more. In fact, the first building that we're going to go into is the glass shop. This particular building was established in 1930 and serves as a living exhibit of 19th century American glassmaking. Inspired by the Boston and Sandwich Glass Shop of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, it underwent a significant transformation in 2005 and expanded its size and now incorporates much more contemporary equipment. All told, about 10,000 pieces of glass each year are made right in front of the visitors. These products range from historical replicas to modern studio glass designs. John Gunsoli managed a multifaceted milling operation on the Middle Rouge River near Plymouth, Michigan, starting in the 1850s. His water-powered carding mill, along with the saw and cider mill, served local farmers by carding their wool, preparing it to be spun into yarn. This process was an essential step in transforming raw wool into usable thread for various textiles. Next door to the carding mill is the printing office. This particular building was erected within Greenfield Village in 1933 and has long functioned as a practical print shop for the community. Historically, it replicated a 19th century small town newspaper printing operation as well as a small tinsmithing workshop. Today, the establishment continues to operate, preserving the tradition of the print shop.
Hello. So I'm making bags for Armington and Sims. It's up there on the coast. Oh, cool.
Sawmills, pivotal in the establishment of new communities, provided essential lumber for constructing homes and barns. In Greenfield Village, Henry Ford commissioned the construction of a mill specifically to accommodate the traditional up and down sawmill equipment. Notably, one of the substantial beams supporting the structure originated from a water-powered sawmill that George Spofford ran in Georgetown, Massachusetts during the 1600s. This beam serves as a historical testament to the enduring legacy of early American industry. Here's another sawmill right next door. In the 19th century United States, small sawmills were pivotal in rural communities. They transformed locally harvested wood into sawn lumber for nearby construction projects. Unlike many mills relying on water power, this operation utilized steam power from its inception. It operated with simplicity yet sophistication, a humble, self-sustaining industrial venture closely connected to its rural surroundings, benefiting from the availability of water as well as fuel that was on site. We're now heading inside the Lorango grist mill. Grist mills, often one of the inaugural enterprises in a community, were responsible for processing grain harvested by local farmers. This particular mill was initially situated in Monroe, Michigan, and specialized in the milling of both corn as well as wheat. It featured an advanced conveyor system conceived by Oliver Evans in the late 1700s, which efficiently transported grain throughout the structure, facilitating a range of processing operations. The weaving shop at Greenfield Village illustrates the progression of textile manufacturing from colonial households and craft shops up through the Industrial Revolution and into commercial factories. Located within a renovated 1840s Georgia cotton mill, this shop features several operational looms, including one of the rare mechanical jacquard looms still in use in North America.
Shed and then shovels thrown through it. It's beaten down, and you move on to the next.
Well, it was, like I said, it was whatever was left over originally. And it was kind of interesting, and we had to be kind of careful with this because So, we make these out of the same material that we make costumes out in the village. And sometimes we make Halloween costumes. And those Halloween costumes tend to be a little more colorful and live. So we have to be careful when I do descriptions. Because they really look like
How long would it take you to finish it?
So you can do about, if you're working like production, you can do about a foot an hour. The rug's a little slower because I have to be trying to shape the edges. Because what we're gonna do, that's not very wide.
Constructed in 1939 by Edward L. Cutler, the architect instrumental in shaping Henry Ford's historic village, the pottery shop initially served as a replica rice mill. Originally intended to showcase 19th century threshing machinery from a South Carolina plantation, this structure underwent a transformation in 1984 to become the pottery shop. Today, as we can see inside, visitors witness live demonstrations of handmade pottery featuring such techniques as salt glaze and slipwares. This last part of our tour on this video at Greenfield Village will take us into a working farm area. In just a bit we'll see the Firestone farm, but as we walk along the way, we'll see that this is truly a farm. We can see plants growing such as corn and wheat, as well as many other types of grains, as well as buildings associated with the farming industry. One of the first buildings that we see here on our right is a cider mill. This mill was constructed in 1942 and erected specifically to accommodate cider making equipment that originally came from Martinsville, Michigan. Situated on a slope, this unique structure facilitated the processing of apples by bringing them into the building on the second floor and utilizing gravity to transport them to the first floor. One of the first structures that we see as we head into the Firestone homestead is the Firestone barn. This barn's a great example of Pennsylvania German bank barns, which was an American barn style with roots that trace back to Switzerland. Termed bank barns, these structures are so named because they are constructed into a slope or bank, providing convenient access for wagons to drive directly up into the upper floors. Bank barns were designed to consolidate various farming activities under one roof, with the lower floor typically serving as space for livestock, while the upper floor housed crops. Benjamin and Catherine Firestone nurtured their family, including their son, tire maker Harvey Firestone, in this farmhouse. Initially located near Columbiana, Ohio, this house dates back to 1828 and underwent a significant renovation in 1882 to enhance its style and modernize its appearance. The original Pennsylvania German layout was reconfigured to include a central foyer, separate dining room and kitchen, a sitting room, closets, as well as adorned with wallpaper and new elegant furniture, as we can see as we step inside.
Everything in that room, I'm gonna have you be really careful.
Oh, I'll go this way.
Oh no, just go this way.
Okay.
Go this way and past it. That's the formal dining room. Everything in there is artifacts, so the china is actually Mrs. Firestone's wedding china. And then you go into the sitting room, and you can actually sit in the chairs. And those fabric ones are of course here. So like the main horse, that's what they need. And then when you look, you can look into the formal parlor. So again, weddings, holidays, funerals, special occasions. Are there pictures of them in here? Yes. And then if you look here, this is actually a picture of the house, and on the porch is Mrs. Firestone and the three boys.
Firestone Tower.
Yes, it's exactly. Harvey is the middle son. He goes on to do that. So right now he's only 16 in 1885. And his father decides that he wants his three boys to go to college. So they all go to college instead of taking over the farm. So after that, then Harvey starts an apprenticeship at a tire repair, like carriages, tire repair and carriage wheel repair shop. And then he goes on to make his tire company, and obviously Henry Ford maybe sounds familiar to you guys. Yep. He's a guy he ends up being friends with and being business partners with, to the point where their grandchildren are married.
Oh, wow.
So Mrs. Firestone Ford actually owns the lions. And that makes you know that she currently owns the lions. So Henry Ford.
I hope you've enjoyed part 3 of our Wandering Walks of Wonder through Greenfield Village. Make sure to hit that subscribe button or take a look for parts 1 and part 2, as well as hundreds of other videos that have been filmed across the United States. Also, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we will see you on our next Wandering Walks of Wonder adventure. Take care now. Bye-bye.